Good morning, my sweet angel babies, my golden simulation farmers, my divine conscious creators. Welcome back to another episode of To Be Real. I'm your host, Charm. Today we are continuing our self-sabotage series. It wasn't supposed to be a series, but I've dealt with a lot of self-sabotage in my life. And so I had a couple of things that I wanted to clear up and say to myself, to you, to anybody that experiences self-sabotage, which is literally everybody. I don't know anybody that doesn't quote unquote self-sabotage, but part of the things that we were talking about in terms of self-sabotage was changing our perspective around it. We know for a fact that our thoughts influence our reality. And so whatever we deal with, the best thing that we can do is switch the narrative. Turn the narrative around so that in some way this thing is serving us so that we can experience a reality in which this thing that is quote unquote negative or undesirable is serving us. As I'm talking, I'm realizing that I forgot my little finger thing. I ripped my nail off yesterday. Oh my God, it hurts so bad. Not ripped it off, but like ripped it in half where it's supposed to be attached to my skin. So let me get my little finger condom thing. Okay, so in the last few episodes, we've talked about getting through subconscious self-sabotage. We talked about the self-sabotage before an up level, when you get out ahead of your nervous system and your nervous system kind of tries to pull you back. Overcoming perfectionism and saying alignment over perfectionism. And today we're moving into the freeze, the frozen self-sabotage, when you literally cannot do anything. You are frozen still. It's not perfectionism. It's not, one thing that you need to do that you're like kind of hesitant of doing. It's no, you are frozen still. You know what you want, but you are taking zero action towards it. And you just can't. You don't know why. You just can't. You feel it in your soul. Maybe the limiting beliefs are too strong. All you can do is hope and dream and wish. And honestly, that's okay. Today, we're going to learn how to use that to your advantage. The times when you literally cannot do anything, not even the smallest imperfect action. And so that's what today is going to be all about. Identity over action. That being said, let's get right into the episode. Okay, so the first thing that we need to understand is that your identity creates your reality. Yes, we talk about how your thoughts influence your reality, how your beliefs influence your reality because you experience what you believe. However, you also experience who you believe yourself to be. Your external reality is simply a reflection of what you feel yourself to be worthy of, who you believe yourself to be, what you believe yourself to be capable of. All of these things are part of your identity. I remember there was a moment that really shifted my identity in terms of being a dancer. When I first started dancing, that was my identity. I loved it. I was, living a 5D reality of being a dancer. Everything was great. I was making money. I, had the freedom of time. I was doing whatever I wanted. And then at some point, I don't remember who said what, but somebody at the club said, yeah, I don't identify with being a dancer. It's just something that I do. I don't talk about it. I don't publicize it. This is just something that I do. It's not my identity. And that resonated for me. I was already at this place where I just wasn't really feeling connected to my reality as a dancer anymore. And I was like, oh, that's what it is. I no longer want to identify as a dancer. I don't want this to be part of my identity. And not even part of my identity. It was my whole identity. I was a dancer. Everything about my life revolved around the fact that I lived the life of an exotic dancer. My sleeping schedule, the things that I was capable of doing, the amount of money that I was capable of making in a night, the way I dressed, the way I presented myself, the people that I encountered. My mind frame was within the mold of a dancer. And when I started trying to shift out of that, I was so uncomfortable because I no longer fit that frame. In that moment, I didn't identify as a dancer anymore. It wasn't something that I was excited to be doing anymore. All the negativity of the club had built up, and it was nothing about being a dancer that, rubbed me the wrong way. It was more so the darkness that had honestly built up within me from being at the club and from, still identifying as a dancer while rejecting what it meant to be a dancer. Dancer isn't just being on stage and dressing cute and making a lot of money. There's the actual job part of being a dancer, of showing up, of talking to people, of dancing for people, of all of the dancer life things, just a lot of things that pertain to the life of being a dancer. I didn't identify with it anymore. And so I was miserable. That was a huge, huge part of it. And so when your inner identity butts with your external reality, then you have problems. Then you have big problems, because the same way that you're trying to get out of this reality, that reality is also trying to push you out. And we talked about that in a previous episode as well. And so you'll feel that sense of resistance. And it's because your inner identity does not match your external reality. And in terms of creating the life of your dreams, in terms of manifesting something, you are trying to match your identity, the way you view yourself, the beliefs that you have about yourself, with that of the version of you that is experiencing that reality. You are not manifesting or creating the life of your dreams. You are manifesting and creating a new version of you that is in alignment with those thoughts, feelings, and beliefs of the version of you that already has it. You are transforming yourself, not your external reality. When you transform yourself, you transform your external reality, not the other way around. Because again, you can transform your external reality by force, by, sheer effort, like whatever. However, you are the thing that projects emotion and feeling into that. If you're not feeling happy, nothing that you do is going to make you feel happy. You have to already be in alignment and already have happiness within your field of awareness for you to experience it in anything else. There's this thing called Adlerian psychology, or maybe it's not Adlerian psychology, but it's this concept that the reason that we do certain things is not because we're triggered, but because we looked for a reason to express what we already wanted to express. For example, if somebody spills a cup of water on you and you scream at them and you have this like really explosive reaction, the mindset behind I think it's Adlerian psychology. The mindset behind that is that you actually were already just angry and you were looking for a reason to explode. Because if somebody dropped a cup of water on me, that would not be my reaction. I would be like surprised and be like, oh my gosh, like that was crazy. And they would probably be like really apologetic. And I'd be like, no, it's totally fine. However, if I've already had a really shitty day and I'm just pissed off and just like everything is going wrong, if someone spills a cup of water on me, yeah, I'm going to go off because I already had that energy pent up inside of me. And I believe, now that I'm saying this, that's why we attract all these situations that, are just they just push you over the edge when you're already having a bad day. You're having a bad day and you stub your toe. You stub your fucking toe. Or for me, my big thing is I'm having a bad day and I'll walk out of a door really fast and my pocket will get stuck on the door handle and I'll be yanked back. Sends me over the edge every time. Why? Because I was already upset. And so my energy attracted more situations that would allow me to continue to feel that energy, to feel that emotion. And so yes, the way that you are already feeling creates the experiences that you're going to have. And so when you are trying to manifest something and your mind is already there, like what you want to become and your inner self is already experiencing that reality, but you feel stuck and your external reality shows to you that stuckness. It's because your inner identity does not match the identity that your inner self has, the perspective that your inner self has of you. Because in your inner identity, your soul, your higher self is already exactly where you desire to be. I desire to be, a podcaster and a YouTuber and has a career in spirituality and sharing and teaching. My inner self is already there. I am being called and pulled in that direction. And the more I allow myself to receive and the more I allow myself to be in alignment, the more that I am carried along that path. However, when I am feeling stuck, when I am in resistance, or when my thoughts, feelings, and beliefs are not matching that of the identity, the thoughts, feelings, and beliefs of my future self, then there is this huge clash because your identity does not match the identity of your future self. Your identity matches exactly what you're experiencing in your reality. There's that budding again of internal reality, internal desires, and your actual identity and the future identity that you are trying to experience, that you are trying to become, that you are trying to identify with. And so when you're feeling extremely stuck, what you need to know is that right now, it's not time for action. Right now, it's not even time for slight imperfect action. What you need to do is cultivate the vibration within you a little bit longer so that you are more in alignment with the thoughts, feelings, and beliefs with the identity of your future self. Because until you begin to at least be sort of in the flow, at least be sort of in resonance or closer in resonance with your future identity, you will not even be able to move forwards with these actions. Your subconscious limiting beliefs will keep you stuck and trapped in your current identity. And so in order to, transform your identity, you must first transform your mind. And transforming your mind has nothing to do with your external reality. And so the first thing that you need to do, the place that you're going to reclaim your power from in this situation, is from the external reality. I need you to look at your external reality where nothing is taking place, where you are taking no action, where you feel frozen and stuck, and say, I don't care. I choose to identify with this version of myself that is taking that action. Why? Because your thoughts carry vibrations. Your thoughts are vibrations. And so even though you can't see it, your thoughts are actually still creating change within you and within your external reality. It might be very, very small. It might be very incremental so that you can't really see the change until you look back and you're like, wow, I've actually come a really long way. But your thoughts are still transforming you and are still creating a new version of you and solidifying and transforming your identity, even when there is no external action to prove it to you. That's going to come. The external is simply the fully fledged manifested experience of something that began as a thought. Your thought is the seed. It's planted in the soil of your mind. If your mind is fertile, it'll sprout into action. If it's hard soil, if it's rocky soil and, the seed can't be planted in you, then the idea, the thought will stay, but there will be no external manifestation of the seed that was planted. But that seed is just as real as the external action, if not more, because the external action could have never taken place if that seed was not first planted. The seed holds within it all of the DNA that will one day be materialized into your external reality, but it begins with the seed. It begins with the thought. And so you need to begin to view your thoughts, your vibrational reality as real as, if not more real than, your external reality. And so you're reclaiming your power from your external reality. You're saying, I don't care that my external reality is not yet proving to me the fact that there's a seed planted in me. I'm going to focus on the seed. I'm going to focus on, allowing myself to be transformed by beholding the identity that I want to have, by beholding the future that I want to experience. We talked a lot about trust in one of the episodes, and what we were talking about was anchoring yourself into a new reality. Because when you anchor yourself into a new reality, even though your external reality might be, showing you something totally opposite, when you lay down and you go to bed and you imagine this dream reality, you're shifting your perspective away from your current reality and shifting it to something more beautiful, to what you actually would like to be experiencing. And when you do that, you stop feeding your external reality with your power of focus and attention, and therefore can deactivate that timeline and activate the new timeline that you are feeding your attention and focus to. And so when you ground yourself in that and you visualize yourself in that, you start to believe that and you start to change your vibration, and then your external reality must catch up. It must catch up to that shift in identity, and that shift of your frequency, and that shift of your focus and attention, that shift of identity, because you're now seeing yourself as someone that is experiencing that reality. You know what they'll do. You know how they spend their time. You know what they do to enjoy themselves. You know how they spend their money. You know all of these things because you're now living in that identity, even if it's just in your mind. That's where it all begins. Your mind is the womb, the place of inception, and the external reality and your manifestation is literally just whatever was in your womb being born into your external reality. The baby being born. No one looks at a pregnant woman and says, yeah, your baby isn't real because it's not here yet. No, they look at her and they're like, oh my gosh, you're pregnant. Every single, trimester, like something incredible is happening. It's the size of a pea. It's the size of a walnut. It's the size of an orange, whatever. People look at that process and it's so beautiful. And, you're 9 months away from birthing this baby, this child. And the time that that baby is in the womb is so precious to the mother. I am not a mother, a mamacita. However, I can imagine that time that baby is within you is beautiful and magical. It's just yours and it's being grown within you, and you're, cultivating in a sense, and you're, pouring all this love and attention into it. You're doing everything you can for yourself to prepare for the baby. It's not only real once it's been birthed into this reality, it's real the entire way. And it's the same thing with your thoughts. It's the exact same thing. It's real all along the way. That is a manifested reality. It just happens to be a vibrationally manifested reality. And we can't see the vibrations, but that doesn't mean it's not real. And so you need to be able to look at your external reality and say, my manifestation is not here yet, but I am shifting my identity by beholding, by looking at, by focusing on, by activating through my attention and focus this new reality that I would like to experience. You live within that identity. You begin to build that within you, despite what your external reality is saying. You will not be able to act on, and you probably wouldn't even receive the inspired action that would be necessary in order to get you moving and get the ball rolling to, begin to be on the path towards your manifested reality until your identity, your inner perspective of yourself is in alignment with that of someone that does take action. You will be asked to stand still, and that's why you feel stuck and frozen, because you're being asked to stand still until you can match your identity to the version of you that is experiencing your dream reality. Once your identity matches that, your focus, attention, your thoughts, your desires, the things that make you happy, the things that you do, they will be in alignment with that future version of you. And therefore, what you see in your external reality will shift. It's already out there. We've talked about the 11 million bits of information that are out there that your, senses can receive at once or can be aware of at once, while your conscious mind can only process 40 to 50 bits. We've talked about that. When you do shift your identity, when you do get to that point where you have held within your mind this belief and this knowing, I am there, I am there, I am her, I can do this, I have done this. Everything that I need has already been planted within me because I have the desire, and I'm continuing to feed my thoughts and attention and my focus in this direction. I can, I will, and I have. I can, I will, and I have. Where I am right now is perfectly fine. Being frozen right now is perfectly fine. It doesn't matter what my external reality is saying. I'm building my identity. I'm aligning with my identity. I'm holding this belief that I am her, even before I see it reflected in my external reality. My external reality does not define me. I define my external reality. I say it doesn't matter what the external reality is telling me, because within my mind, I am holding the identity and the frequency of the version of me that I desire to become. And when I have aligned with that enough, then my external reality will reflect that. Right now, it's reflecting to me where I am. It's proof to me that I have not held within me the identity that I desire to become long enough within me in order to actually, be experiencing it on my external reality. I haven't aligned with the thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and actions. And just because I'm not taking action right now doesn't mean that I'm not well on my way to getting there. To even have a thought of something, to have it come into your awareness is so big. If it was not even within your field of awareness, if it weren't something that you were capable of doing, you wouldn't even attract the thought. You wouldn't be able to think that thought. It has to already be something that is within your field of awareness, something that you are in alignment with at least enough to have the thought of it. You're already well on your way, and you need to hold on to that. You need to reclaim your power from your external reality that is telling you something different. You hold your identity first within your mind. You refuse to let your external reality tell you who you are, to define your identity, to limit your identity, to limit the transformation that you're capable of going through. That is your power. It's not something that should ever be externalized or, allowed to be defined by your external reality, what you're experiencing. Your external reality is just proof of thoughts, feelings, and beliefs and past identities that you've held on to long enough that you align with that external reality. It's not proof of who you are. It's proof of who you were. It's not proof of who you have to become. It's only proof of what has been birthed, because for months or for years or forever long, you held on to this thought, this feeling, this belief. You planted it within your mind and it sprouted. It doesn't mean you can't plant something different. If you have a field and it's full of corn right now and now you want to plant carrots, you don't say, oh man, I'll never be able to plant carrots because I have a bunch of corn. No, you do the work that you have to do and you remove the corn and then you plant carrots. I don't know how carrots work, their roots. I don't know how that works, but you plant carrots. Your mind is the exact same way. Yeah, the corn has sprouted. Yeah, that's what you're experiencing right now. But at any point, you can plant something different. There's a reason why you are stuck, frozen, and still. This is the period that will require the most transformation within you, that will require the most faith from you, because you have to be able to hold your identity in your mind before you take action, before you see your external reality manifested to show you that you have done the change. And the external reality is basically the baby being born. For a while, your external reality will continue to reflect to you the identity that had been solidified for however long you had your past identity. And even when you come across your final boss, even when you come across the hardest skeleton of what was holding your external reality together, and you're trying to push through, you can't let that skeleton reshape you again back into who you were. You have to say, no, I'm a triangle. I don't care that I'm butting up against the circle of who I used to be. I'm a triangle. I'm a triangle. I'm a triangle. My identity is out of a triangle. I don't care. I'm a triangle. I'm a triangle. I'm a triangle. My external reality doesn't define who I am. My external reality is saying, no, you're a circle. No, everything that you're doing is circular minded. You're not taking action. You're not doing what your future self is saying. You're not taking the actions that, the triangle version of you would be doing. You're a circle. You're still a circle. And you have to say, no, identity over action. Identity over external reality. Identity comes first. The vibration comes first. The thought comes first. The belief comes first. And then the external reality transforms. That is your power, to be able to transform your reality through that of your identity. Make that an affirmation. My identity creates my reality. My identity creates my reality. My identity creates my reality. So that whenever you are trying to change your external reality, whenever you're trying to manifest a different life, you can look at your external reality with a different sense of power, where you look at it and say, I don't really care what it says. I don't care what my external reality looks like right now. I know that I can transform my identity from within. I'm not worried about the action right now. Once my identity is locked in, I know that the inspired action will find me. And I'll know that I am that much more in alignment when I feel capable of taking that action. When inspired action finds you and you are in alignment, you cannot not take that action. You just can't. It's so strong within you. The desire, the excitement, the joy, the tools, they're all there for you once you're in alignment. So you focus on your alignment first. You focus on getting your identity into alignment first. What is your identity made out of? Who you believe you are, who you believe yourself capable of becoming, what you believe yourself of being capable of, what you believe you are worthy of, the types of experiences that you have, what you do, where you go, how you spend your money. My book, The Rebrand, is all about creating a new identity, getting very, very granularly clear on who it is that you are trying to become, so that you can begin to embody that mentally, so you can begin to live in that even before your external reality proves to you that that is something that you can do. As you behold, you become transformed. As you shift your eyes to the reality, the new identity that you want to be experiencing, you become transformed. First vibrationally, first through your thoughts, your feelings, and beliefs, and then through your external reality. Identity over action. Identity over external validation. Identity over proof. Identity over anything. Your identity creates your reality. I know it. Your higher self knows it. Now it's time for you to know it and honor it and respect it. And stop trying to experience the reality that you desire to experience by changing your external reality. It's time for you to begin to smile if you want to see the mirror smile back. It's time for you to stop focusing so much on your actions and what you need to do and all the effort that you need to put in and everything that you're not doing, and start putting your attention onto who you are within and who you are trying to become within. The longer that you look at your external reality and use it as proof of who you are, the longer you perpetuate it. Your mind is the king of confirmation bias. It has to prove to you what you believe. And that's why identity is so important, because when your identity shifts, your confirmation bias must also shift what it's showing you to confirm what you believe about yourself. It's time to activate a new vibration. It's time to activate a new external reality by first transforming your identity. Identity over action, baby. Identity over action every single day, every single time. And when you feel that self-sabotage, when you feel that sense of perfectionism and you're feeling stuck again, you hold on to it. I don't care. I don't care. I am now the version of me. I now hold within me the frequency of the identity of the version of myself that I'm trying to become, the version of me that experiences the manifestation that I desire to experience. I don't care. I don't care. I choose to believe in that version of me. I choose to believe in my capacity to change and transform my reality from within first. That is your power. You are the conscious creator of your life. If you attracted this video to you, if it resonates with you, if there's a remembering within you, if there's a knowing within you, you're already halfway there. It's now in your field of awareness. You can take this and run with it, power without permission. You do not need anybody's permission to change your identity, to change the way you think about yourself, to change the thoughts that you have about yourself, to change the way you feel about yourself, to change the way that you view your future, what you're capable of. That is your power. Reclaim it and use it. Use it. Use it to create the reality of your dreams. Use it to become the version of you. You're not trying to manifest the thing, I promise you. You're trying to manifest a new version of you. You don't want the thing, you want who you will become in the process. That's what you want. The version of you that is capable of holding that identity comfortably, that reality comfortably, that feels like they belong within wealth, within, whatever career you want to experience, within, a romantic relationship, within a healthy relationship with your family, whatever it is. It's time to hold within you the belief in the identity, even before you see it externalized in your reality. Identity over action, baby. Identity over action every single day, the entire way. You got this. I believe in you. Your higher self believes in you. Now it's time for you to believe in you. Anyways, that is the end of this episode. I think that is the end of this self-sabotage series. Just kidding. It's very much not. The next episode is going to be all about rewiring limiting beliefs surrounding self-sabotage. We have talked about this before. The concept of how to access your subconscious mind in order to rewire your limiting beliefs. But I want this episode to be one that is totally about the process. The last time that I spoke about this, I was walking you guys through a limiting belief that I had. But I want this episode to be one that you can refer back to at any point and be given the steps. And it might not be very long because the steps are very simple and clear. However, I want that to be a standalone episode that you guys can refer back to at any point so that with whatever you're experiencing, you can go back and follow the steps in order to rewire your limiting beliefs. And so that will be the next episode. And so yes, that being said, thank you so much again for tuning in. Thank you for giving me your time and your ears and your attention. I appreciate it. I hope that I have provided the kind of value that makes the time that you spend with me worth it, And yeah, anyways, I hope to see you guys in my next episode. Love you. Bye.